The president also took a tour of Ford's Rouge complex, where he got into a tense exchange with a worker inside the facility. In video obtained by TMZ, a worker on a floor below Trump can be heard shouting something that included the words, quote, pedophile protector. Apparently, of course, in reference to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and the delayed, heavily redacted release of the Epstein files. Well, the president is then seen pointing down at the worker, either mouthing or yelling the F word and the word you, and then giving the middle finger.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for choosing to hang out with your host, the Conservative Bird, and me, Double D, and you're on the Brick Road Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. We really appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out with us. And before we get into everything, please make sure to hit that like, hit that share, hit the subscribe, and smash the notification. It's the free and easy way to help this channel grow as big as possible.
Yes, it does. And Bird, I think we've had quite an interesting couple of weeks in the news. Looks like America's been getting the checkup from the neck up.
Yeah, that's for sure. So recently we had kind of a little interesting topic where a Ford plant member during Donald Trump's visit, heckled him a little bit, and Donald Trump gave it back to him a little bit. It's pretty funny. We're going to get into it in a little bit. But Donald Trump had a few things to say. So one of the things that he decided to talk about was how the tariffs in Canada were forcing them to come build the car parts here at the Ford plants instead. So it's like people don't understand. It's a situation where it's bringing companies to build their products in America to avoid the tariffs. They were not meant for the tariffs to really be used all like that unless they decide to use them. You know what I mean? It's meant to get companies to want to come to America and have their products built in America. That's the whole point of the tariffs. It's a chess move that most people that aren't business people really understand.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, anybody who's read The Art of the Deal, they probably, I don't know if everything in The Art of the Deal can really apply to politics, but when it comes to the economic side of it, I don't see why not. And now, maybe, I know there's, like, you and I were talking to Dave earlier today, and he's really upset about the whole tariff thing. And,
yeah, but
and I can understand that from his, and I understand that from his perspective, Bird, because he's doing the whole construction thing, and the price of construction goods have gone up, and I get that. But I believe ultimately, at some point or another, that eventually the economy is going to catch up to it, and I think that's what Donald Trump was trying to say.
Right.
And again, like, if you read his book, and I know you have, and I have been too, the most important thing I took from that is that even though he's good at what he does, he's good at making it happen, and even though the economy lags, that doesn't mean it won't catch up. Right. I guess that's what I was trying to say.
You could say whatever you want about him as a person, as a president, as anything else, but he is 1,000% a great businessman. And right here, he talks a little bit about it. So without further ado, let's get into it.
President Trump making a couple of stops in Metro Detroit today. One was at Motor City Casino, where protesters were waiting. Detroit police arresting 2 of them for disobeying orders. Inside, the president addressed the Detroit economic.
I love how the geriatric mafia is outside protesting in the absolute cold in Detroit. Trump's inside hitting them with the...
Yeah,
bro,
with the dads.
These people have to have no life to be out here to be willing to protest in this weather. I don't care what it is. This is absolutely and utterly hilarious and at the same time pathetic. But hey, do your own thing. Do your thing, old people. Do your thing, old people. Do your thing.
That's right. You be you. You be you, geriatric mafia.
Club. He touted his tariffs as a positive for the auto industry, a policy Democrats say has brought too much uncertainty.
The boomer busters.
One of the biggest reasons for this unbelievable success has been our historic use of tariffs. Now, it's tariffs that are making money for Michigan, and the entire country is stronger and safer and richer than ever before.
Quite frankly, the supplier industry.
And here we go, a Democrat to try and slander everything he says and make it seem like everything he said is completely false and not real. This is what they do. And this is what they're going to continue to do until he's gone. They're going to do this to him even when he's not in office anymore. They're still going to act like he's in office, regardless if he's at Mar-a-Lago or out golfing somewhere. They're still going to treat him like he's in office.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like they talk about us thinking he's a king. These fucking delusional people really think he's a king because they can't shut up about him. They love him, dude. They love Trump. They really love him.
Yeah, well, they definitely love hating them, and because they love to hate them, or hate him, not them, unless he's a they, them, which we know he's not. But anyway, but anyway, obviously they hate him, and but they love to hate him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a love-hate. Yep, 1,000%.
It's a love-hate, yeah, it's definitely a codependent relationship there.
Without a doubt.
Dude, Trump is making a bunch of liberal commentators rich right now. They were broke for 4 years under Biden.
That's very true because you want to know why they were broke though, Double D? Because they can't. They're liberals. They couldn't say anything good about Biden that was true. So what are they going to talk about? They still tried to talk about Trump and how he's coming back. Like they're obsessed with this man at this point, bro.
Oh, dude, there's no question. The obsession is disgustingly crazy. TDS. I mean, dude, if you would have told me 20 years ago that we were going to have one person that half the country was going to despise so much that they were willing to die, go to prison, and disrupt society as a whole for, I would have laughed my ass off. But like, dude, you're fucking crazy. There's no way that's ever going to happen. Here we are.
You know who the final boss is?
I hate being wrong, but this time I hate it even more.
You know who the final bosses are of the geriatric mafia?
Who's that?
Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and this lady.
Significantly hurt by the tariffs. Who's paying them? Vehicles are more expensive than they've been.
That's not true.
I want to work with everybody to have a
That's
strong
not true at all.
auto industry. Manufacturing is the backbone of the American economy, and we need to keep it strong. We've got to stop making them a ping pong ball.
That's just not true, though.
See, car because of the interest rates.
Right. Actually, I just looked up. So, I just looked up my car as a Ford Explorer Platinum, same year, similar miles, and it was actually pretty cheap. It was like $29,000, which isn't very expensive for a Ford Platinum Explorer with only 50,000 miles on it. I was like, wow. Or no, it might have had less than 50,000. It might have only had like 40,000, but it was like 29,000. I'm like, that's not a bad deal for real. Like, I'm like, this kind of makes me like wish I had enough money to go buy it. You know what I mean? Because I would if I had money like that.
Well, dude, you should go finance it. I got my interest rate of 3.99%, bro.
Yeah.
My actual payment every month on my car is a pretty high payment because I spent $36,000 on the car. Right. I bought $7,000. Technically, my car was only $29,000.
Right.
I bought $7,000 worth of those. You know, the extended plan, the Carfax plan, not Carfax, but the car doc plan. So I could have it. I mean, I prepaid all my maintenance for the next 8 years.
Right.
So for 8 years of prepaid maintenance, a brand new sport Toyota.
Okay.
I walked out of there with tax and everything was just almost 36,000.
That's not bad. 36. That's not bad.
But here's the thing. My monthly payment, even though it's $600 a month or something like that, it's somewhere between $500 and $600. But I don't really pay attention to it. It comes out automatically. So I don't even give a shit about that. But anyway, the point being of it, though, what I do care about is that only $100, like $100 to $110 a month of that goes to interest. All the rest of it's going to principal because of the 3.99%.
So, point being, we just eliminated the final boss of the geriatric mafia, one of them, all right? Now let's hear what this chick has to say. The lady who just told us that the prices of cars are going up. We proved her wrong. We eliminated one of the final bosses of the geriatric mafia. Adios, amiga. Let's see what this retard has to say.
The president also took a tour of Ford's Rouge complex, where he got into a tense exchange with a worker inside the facility. In video obtained by TMZ, a worker on a floor below Trump can be heard shouting something that included the words, quote, pedophile protector. Apparently, of course, in reference to...
Listen, I don't care what anybody says. Two things can... Listen, hold on. Two things can be funny at one time, bro. I don't care. I think both things were funny. I'll replay it for you, Double D. I don't care. I think I think this guy yelling this at Trump is fucking hilarious, and I think Trump flicking him off and saying fuck you is just as hilarious. Both so funny and just a classic moment, dude. Seriously.
TMZ, a worker on a floor below Trump can be heard shouting something that included the words, quote, pedophile protector. Apparently, of course, in reference to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and the delayed, heavily redacted release of the Epstein files. The president is then seen pointing down at the worker, either mouthing or yelling the F word and the word you, and then giving the middle finger. Now, TMZ says the White House communications director sent them a response which reads, quote, a lunatic was wildly screaming expletives in a complete fit of rage, and the president gave an appropriate and unambiguous response.
I almost spit my water on just now. The fact that the White House put a statement out for this, like, Trump don't give a fuck, dude. Trump don't care. You didn't have to put this statement out. If Trump would have put this statement out, he'd have said, fuck him again. Make America great again.
That's right. That's right. The message still stays. It don't matter how much shit they screamed at him and stuff. And I just thought, I'll be honest, Bert, I thought it was a meme at first. I thought it was an AI meme when I first, because I saw the picture before I saw the actual video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. I was like, is that AI? Because it looks so freaking clear. I thought it was AI, but as it turns out, he really did say "fuck you" and flipped him off.
So funny. So I believe
we always use that, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's just a natural response. You know what I'm saying? It's a common, everyday response. So I believe this guy is what? Is he the CEO of Ford in Detroit right now? Something like that. So Trump decided to go to the Ford plant. We've seen what just happened towards the end. But he did have a productive meeting with this guy. So, check this out.
And all of the U.S. automakers now are doing great. And before they were having a really hard time. You couldn't. The environmentalists would not have let them survive.
So, Mr. President, when you renegotiate USMCA, how is that going to help?
I don't even think about USMCA. I mean, I want.
By the way, I don't know if anybody's paying attention to the bottom, but right down there it said Clintons are refusing to testify in Jeffrey Epstein thing. Yeah. That's crazy.
And they're being held in contempt.
Yeah, but it's happened to them before. We all know nothing's going to happen to them. They're just going to get a little slap on the wrist. Here you go.
Slick Willie, him and Hillary both know, man. They just know that they. I mean, it's just Congress. Unless you're being in a court of law, the truth be told, that's a deposition by Congress, and you don't really have to do it. I would recommend that I would still recommend that people do it because it gives you an opportunity to give your voice heard and listened to by the members of Congress. And if even in a deposition, you still get to defend yourself.
Very
you
true.
know what I mean? Is the outcome going to matter? No, it's not.
True.
Simply not.
No, that's true.
But if Slick Willie has nothing to hide, then why not?
Yeah.
I want to see Canada and Mexico do well, but the problem is we don't need their product. We don't need cars made in Canada. We don't need cars made in Mexico.
That's true.
We want to make them here.
True. Make America great again.
Everybody's moving here. From Canada, they're coming here. From Mexico, from Japan, from Germany, from all over the world, they're coming here. They're opening up their plants. Bill is lucky because he's had a lot here, but when he doesn't have it here, he's moving here. They're doing big expansions for it. but they're all doing great. The car industry is exciting, and to be honest with you, Bill, every industry is exciting.
Yeah.
Just like this.
Well, we need to rebuild our industrial base, and that's been a priority of yours.
And we're adding a combustion vehicle, a combustion truck, affordable one in Tennessee to the president's note. That's what these policies are doing for Ford. We're going to actually expand one of our existing plants and make a different kind of truck there.
The tariffs?
Yeah. Yes, and the EPA, the relief of the
Tariffs and the relief I gave them from the most ridiculous standards. We had put 3 computers on a car in order to save about this much gasoline from a glass. It was crazy, but I'm very proud of them. And Ford has really been a leader. They've done.
And honestly, that's what the Democrats are so upset about, because they're all about this electric vehicle, because they know that the Republicans, they're the ones that have their hands in the oil for the most part, and they want to figure out how to get their hands on it. People don't realize that. All right, all this stuff with the electric vehicle is all bullshit. They're trying to control you. Imagine if the power grid goes offline. Guess what? You're not driving no more. Where are you going? Your electric car's stuck at home. That's why I'm buying a gas vehicle every time. I don't care. You can say what you want.
I mean, here's what I'll say to that. First of all, I still prefer a gas vehicle at this point. It is getting easier to charge your cars along the way. My biggest fear about the electric car right now is the unpredictability of the lithium battery.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really my only downside with it, man, because, I mean, and how do you dispose of that battery afterwards?
That's
true.
true.
It's just we're talking about a $5,000 piece of hardware by itself that goes in your car, right? That can explode, all right? And they haven't seemed to perfect that. And I mean, I understand those explosions are minimum. They don't happen every day. They probably don't even happen every week or every month. Well, maybe on the planet they do.
Yeah, I agree.
But gas combustion engines don't blow up at all anymore. They used to back in the day, and then they perfected it.
Exactly.
They perfected the gas. So I'm waiting until they perfect the electric car before I take my chances on A, getting blown up, B, getting stuck in the desert somewhere because I couldn't get a charge. That would be horrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who the hell wants that? And I guess,
or C, if the electric, also D, what if the electric goes off the grid? Then there's no more electricity.
Well, you could always use a generator, but here's the thing: is you can charge. And my buddy Coach down in Sackett, he just bought a brand new electric Nissan, and you can charge it both 120 and 110 and 220 now.
Oh, okay.
Now he normally charges at 220 because it only takes 45 minutes. When he does the 110, it takes 8 hours to get a full charge.
I got you.
Great job, but all of them. General Motors is doing really well. Stellantis is doing really well. We're really happy about it. I just wanted to build their product in the USA.
Same.
Renegotiate USMCA.
Well, I can. It expires very shortly, and we could have it or not. It wouldn't matter to me. I think they want it. I don't really care about it.
So it might go away. So you're talking about
no real advantage to us. It's irrelevant to me. Canada would love it. Canada wants it. They need it because we don't need Canada product. That's the thing. You know, I want to be a nice person, but we don't need. I want to build the cars here, not in Canada. We used to build cars in Canada. Now, the Canada cars, the Canadians are moving here to build cars. Same thing with Mexico. Same thing with Japan. Japan's paid us billions and billions of dollars for the privilege of making cars here and selling cars.
What about the raw materials?
Auto manufacturing that you would like to see in the United States satisfied with the level where it's at right now?
The quality is unbelievable. So we're at a Ford 150 plant, and I don't know that much about cars, but I know how to get people working. And all I can tell you is that people talk so much about the 150, and it has been for a long time. They make a great product, a quality product, better than anybody else can make in Europe or in any other location. Look, the Ford 150 has done well for a long time because they make a great product.
That's true, and honestly, that's true. That's why Ford, they went away from making most of their cars, other than the Mustang, the Explorer, the Expedition, and the F-150s, and the F-250s and F-350s, all of those. But he's right. The F-150s are actually very, very, very reliable trucks. I wanted to get one. I got my Explorer instead.
Ford trucks in general are pretty freaking reliable, dude. There's a reason why Alan Jackson sings songs about them.
You know,
they're good vehicles.
It's funny how earlier the final boss of the geriatric mafia talked how bad the tariffs are doing, but then the people that are actually in the industry in America, in Detroit, are telling you how good the tariffs are doing for them. So it's like, you know, who are you going to believe, the liberal media or the people that are actually going through it? It's kind of like how I tell people
the people are doing it.
Exactly. It's kind of like how I tell people the people with the Venezuelan stuff, okay? Who are you going to believe, the liberal media or even the conservative media, or what the people of Venezuela are actually telling you? And the people of Venezuela are actually telling you that they loved what Trump did with Moderno. So regardless of what anybody says, left, right, center, it doesn't matter. It's what the people like. It doesn't matter if you like it. It has nothing to do with anything. It doesn't matter why Trump went in there for. That is irrelevant. The fact that the people like what he did and are grateful and appreciative for what he did is what matters, okay? So what matters is what these people that are working in the plants are telling you are happening as a result of the tariffs.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I personally think that tariffs are doing. I don't think it's, you know, like Dave was saying, was making inflation go up. I don't agree with that. I just don't agree with that.
Normal.
I don't think
inflation's normal.
I don't think. Yeah, I was like, I mean, honestly, inflation's at what, like 3.9% right now, or something like that.
Right.
Which would be considered. I mean, it's still. I mean, it's. I mean, would it be better if it was 2 or 2.5? Of course, it would be better if there was no inflation at all. But you got to have some inflation. So actually, that I retract that statement, because the truth is, without inflation,
it's just average. It's normal. What it is you want to have low inflation. That's all. That's what it's about. Low inflation.
And if you're in 2 to 4%, you're in a good range. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, I'm 57 years old. I've been through this with the Carter years. Went through it with the Reagan years, which were really tough in the first 4 years. It took a while. It took 4 or 5 years for Reagan's shit to kick in. And then when it finally did, both Bill Clinton, George Bush, and Barack Obama benefited from it.
Yep.
What about Chinese autos and things?
Mr. President, what about the...
Pretty good, right? Who would have thought that was going to happen, right?
What about the...
Everybody said that the cars are dead in the United States. If you go back 4 years ago into the middle of the Biden administration, everybody was closing up their plants. Now we have more plants being built in our country than at any time in history. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And it's the election November 5th, and it's other things, but it's also, I think, maybe the biggest part, the election, because I'm the tariff person. And everybody now admits that I was right on tariffs. And I hope that we win the Supreme Court case.
Mr. President, what about the raw materials coming in from countries like Canada? How do these companies deal with the fact that...
Well, we get it, but we have a lot of our own raw materials. And, you know, the word raw and rare are a little bit of a misnomer. They're not very rare. You have a lot of places that want to sell us material, and we get it from a lot of different countries, and we have a lot of rare earth and raw materials.
Senator Tom Tillis says that the subpoena, grand jury subpoena to the Federal Reserve Chairman was a little excessive. What do you think about that?
Well, that's why Tom's not going to be a senator any longer, I guess.
But what do you think?
He's talking about Tom Massey.
Yeah.
Is that who he's talking about?
Yeah.
No, isn't Tom Massey a Republican, right?
No, wait, hold on.
But what do you think?
But I like Tom Tillis. He's a nice guy, but looks, right?
But what do you think?
Well, that's why Tom's not going to be a senator any longer, I guess, right?
But what do you think?
But I like Tom Tillis. He's a nice guy, but look, he's not going to be a senator any longer because of
Tom Tillis.
views like that. We have a bad Fed chairman. He's bad in a lot of different ways, but he's bad because his interest rates are too high. And today we had a great inflation report, and today we had a really great growth report. So we have great growth and low inflation, and we're doing very well.
Do you think there's going to be a rate?
It's true. It's just true. We do it. Our inflation is low for what it is. Joe Biden's inflation was absolutely crazy his first year. Compared to Trump's first year, it is night and day. You can argue with me all you want, but you're arguing about nothing, and that's just what it is. So at the end of the day, I think what is going on is going to benefit America in the long run. It might not seem like it right now. Let's give it 2 years and really see how the economy is booming in a couple years.
Buck Sexton or was it Clay Travis and Buck Sexton? They have that show on in the afternoon on the radio.
Yeah.
And I was listening the other day, and they were talking about the tariff situation. They were talking about the Reagan years, talking about the early Obama, where the economy, because Obama took over after the mortgage crisis and collapse and all that happened. So he became president after that, and that really was something to come out of. Both Reagan and Obama both took them at least 4 years, at least their first terms, to turn the economy around. Well, Donald Trump had a booming economy in 2015 or 2016 through 2020. No complaints there.
Yeah, 1,000%.
But he's done in 11 months. In 11 months, he's done what took Reagan and Obama each 4 years plus a second term to get done.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that, and I know this is Trump's second term, but his first term, I don't think it counts because there was 4 years in between.
Yeah, hey,
of failure,
you know what? It is what it
economy and failed leadership.
It is what it is, and we got what we got. You know what I mean? We can't worry about the past. All we can worry about is the present and hope the future is great. And that's the way I look at things.
Well, I think the future is going to be fine. I hope. I mean, there's a lot of distrust. There's a lot of chaos and confusion.
All we can do is stay grounded in the present, not in the president. Stay grounded in the present, and that's it.
That's right. Remember what I was saying that earlier today? Like they say in the program, you got to, easy does it. Take it one day at a time. Yeah. And you know what? If the whole world treated it like that, I've always been a firm believer if you could get everybody in politics to do the 12-step program, they probably would be better people.
Yep.
And smarter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
True.
Just because it makes you hold yourself accountable for your own actions.
That's
why in Congress, they don't hold themselves accountable, Bert.
That's very true. That's very true, and it's just a common.
That's both sides.
Yeah, it's not just Democrats. It's rhinos too, and even some Republicans. They don't want to hold themselves accountable, but it is what it is, and you just got to hope that the person that's representing you has at least some of your best interests at hand. Where it's like you're going to have give and take with politicians, where you're going to like things that they do and you're going to dislike things that they do. So that's just the way I look at it with politics,
honestly, nobody's ever going to like everything that one person does anyway. Because we're human beings and we're imperfect. We are imperfect beings. We were made to be imperfect. And when that's the case, I don't understand why they hold him to a standard that they didn't hold everybody else to.
Because
the standard for Trump is always higher than the one for Biden.
Because you don't understand. You don't understand because they're infatuated with them. That's why. So they hold them at their standard because they're so infatuated with them.
I completely understand the obsession and the TDS, but my point is at some point, at what point do you say when? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
He can't run again, so it's not like well, what's their point?
There is
why
no
not
point.
Just try to make America great again?
They're deranged.
I'll get busy getting busy. I don't get it.
Because, Double D, they're deranged. There's no point in having the conversation because they're deranged and they don't care. They have TDS, and he could literally come out and say, hey, guess what? I have the cure for cancer, and they will start chain smoking cigarettes and say, no, cancer has the right to exist.
Yeah, you're probably right about
that. On that note,
my joke has always been is if he found the cure for cancer, they would complain that he's stunting the growth.
Exactly. And on that note, I think we're going to end it. We're going to end it because I feel like what is going on is a good thing. It might not seem like it is right now to some people, and to some people, most of those people, it'll never seem like the right thing to do. Regardless of what he does, like we just said, it will never seem like it is right. Regardless, it could benefit them greatly, and they still won't care. So Just make sure to remember to love your neighbor, love your enemy, love everybody, put faith in God first, because politics are just politics at the end of the day. And all left and right is the way you feel like your life should be lived on earth, but none of this really matters, because when it's all said and done, you get to go home with God if you're a believer.
Now, my opinion on the left and right thing has always been my belief is the left wing and the right wing are still on the same bird. With that being said, there are distinctive differences between the two also, and I tend to lean more to the right side of those differences.
Yeah.
But just because we have two different paths doesn't mean overall that most Americans, both Democrat and Republicans, most Americans, I'm not talking about the crazies on the left. We haven't really seen too much crazy on the right now, but it's there. It's just stewing and waiting. There's no reason for it to show its head right now, so it's not. You know what I mean? But at some point, we're going to have a Democrat in office again, and the insanity right is going to show their face again. But right now, they're silent. I'm cool with that.
Just got to pray for everybody. Pray that they find their way.
Yeah, but the bottom line is we're basically taking just two different roads to the same destination. And what that destination is just making America better and staying strong. And, I mean, there are people out there who don't want that, and I don't understand that. Mm-hmm. So, but with that, I feel that most people do overall. Yeah. Most Americans in general, I think, want America to succeed.
Yep.
I wish I could say that both sides want our president to succeed, but unfortunately, there's elements on both sides that don't. And
I think that's the difference between a lot of liberals and at least the type of conservative that I am. I wanted Joe Biden to be a great president. I wanted him to do everything in our best interest, and me to be completely wrong and say, wow, I'm wrong about that. Like, he was actually a really good president, but he didn't, and he wasn't, so I couldn't, and I had to call it for what it is. And hey,
And unfortunately, Joe Biden wasn't a very good person either, dude. If you look back at his history, going all the way back to 1974,
I feel like Joe Biden would be.
I would have said he was a good dude.
I feel like Joe Biden was somewhat mega back in the days, honestly. Back in the 90s and the 80s, he seemed to be kind of like a mega type of person. Not all the way with like his bullshit, like with David Duke
he was still a socialist even then. He was still a socialist.
But like, he was, I just mean with like the immigration policies. That's what I mean. He wasn't pro illegal immigration. He was against it back in the days. So that's what I mean by that. Like, some of his views would be make him more center to left,
Right, left to center would be a good way to describe
as he got old, they were able to manipulate him so much and push him far left to where he appeased to the crazy of the craziest,
Yeah. Now, because that's a good point that you made there about they pushed him to the far left. Did they push him to the far left, though? Because I'm not sure he even knew it.
Well, that's what I mean by that. He wasn't. That's what I mean. Yeah. He wasn't in charge. Everybody knows. Everybody knows now that Joe Biden was in charge. That she was the one pulling the strings, and a female Democrat we know most likely is far left. You know what I mean? The females tend to be more left than the females on the right. They tend to be right to center, because I know a lot of females that are on the right that are still kind of like pro-abortion, but they vote for Trump. You know what I'm saying? So
they're for a woman too,
right. It's a lot of different shit. So what I'm saying is that Joe Biden was handling everything. And that's why she made a statement when she went to vote. She wore a red dress. She voted for, I'll guarantee 1,000% that her and Joe Biden voted for Trump.
Oh, probably because they were mad at Kamala for all the bad
That's
mouthing
why
and mad at
Joe.
the Democrats. Dude, and Nancy Pelosi. I mean, all of dude, they ganged. I mean, there was a part of me for a second that actually felt sorry for the guy, but
I don't at all.
it didn't last long. It certainly wasn't enough to still make me vote for him. So,
No,
I
not at
mean, on
all.
that, it is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
so we're done with him.
yeah, and we're done with this
Anyway,
episode. So I
yeah.
appreciate you guys stopping by and checking out the video if you made it this far. If not, no big deal. Really appreciate you regardless for however long you watch. Without God, none of this is possible. Remember, Christ is King. I want to thank my family, Double D, and the audience, Double D.
And as always, Bert, thank you for making the show happen every week as you do. And actually, we're doing it 2 and 3 times a week now. So thanks for making that happen. Second of all, audience, as always, thanks for sticking around. Also, if you guys have any like little news tidbits that you think that we'd be interested in, feel free to put that down in the comment section. We're more than happy to. We want to cover subjects that you guys want to discuss too. So feel free. Never feel like you can't do that, and always feel free to disagree if you do. And most importantly, I would still like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ because He is the reason I'm here to do this today.
The real
with all
goat.
that, good night. With all that, good night, y'all. In America, stay free, America.
All right, everybody, have a good one. Peace.